Namaste. Namaste has two meaning. I am not. So when I am not, that ego is not, there is a humility, there is a kindness, there is a calmness and peace. Another meaning is I am you and you are me. So we both have a common consciousness, one consciousness that is of the nature of peace and happiness. How are you doing? Thank you very much for sending the email message, and I'm very happy. And I see that you are evolving. Let the time come, then you start living into that permanent state of peace and happiness. But this happiness gets a break. Mind becomes crazy, lazy, obsessed, reactive, impulsive, anxious. So we should know how and why this mind becomes crazy, lazy, obsessed, reactive, and we are not able to take over the mind. What is that state? What happens? But before that, let us have some simple practice. Eyes are closed and being comfortable. Now you might be familiar with my first two steps in any meditation. Being comfortable. Close your eyes gently. Become aware of the space all around you. Find a comfortable posture and the position of the body. Looking at mentally, looking or feeling the neck joint being there and experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Moving the mind on the shoulder joints, being there, feeling the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Moving the mind and feeling the hip joint. This is just to bring the mind back that is scattered outside in many directions. Feeling the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Moving the mind on the entire body from the top of the head to the toes and experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. I'm making such a simple practice today that you should be doing 24 by 7. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Now, in the state of being comfortable, state of being comfortable, be carefree. Second, you already know the signature step, and every time I explain you the meaning of being carefree differently. Why different? So that your mind assimilates that knowledge, digest it, and so that you are carefree all the time. So you're looking inside the forehead in the space. That space or blankness is a reference point. And you watch and feel the thoughts, feeling, and emotions are passing by. Unwanted, unwelcome, undesirable thoughts are passing by, like the highway remains the same. Trailer, truck, SUV, sedan, they all pass on the same highway. Why it is a big trailer? Because I find a particular thought or a feeling or emotion is causing me the trouble. But fact is that it is all they all are moving vehicles. So in being carefree, you are watching the thoughts, feeling, emotions are separate from you. That helps our mind to live within. That helps the mind to live within, far from the sources. So you see, the body is steady, breath is normal, and the mind is carefree. But it doesn't remain carefree because millions and trillions of impressions are accumulated there. We are in the process of purification of the mind. And the intellect should understand the mantra, simple mantra that we normally do. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om is a pointer. As I point you, oh, you are here, by the finger. So finger is not you. Same way, Om is a pointer to the pure consciousness, your real nature. Good? Understood. Shanti. Three times. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. One Shanti is for the known world. What is the known world? My personal, professional, social, family life, my body, mind, intellect. That is the known world. So Om Shanti means that consciousness brings the peace to the known world. Second Shanti to the unknown world. We don't know what is our real nature. That is one, but there are many things unknown. So let there be peace to the unknown world, even if the unknown world pours down, descends down, brings some challenges. Let there be peace. And the third Shanti? Third Shanti is you. It is your essential nature. So this is the mantra we will be using. So check that. Body remains steady, breath remains normal, mind continues to jump. So yes, mind jumps, but the intellect is using the mantra. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So when you are saying Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, looking into the space, when you are saying Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, saying the mantra while looking at the space inside the forehead. Why? Why? So that you remember, you can recall and remember what? First Shanti, known. Second Shanti, unknown. Third Shanti is within all of us. Within all of us. Continue. So how to do it simple? How to do it simple? You you look within the forehead, become aware of the space, then you say Om, and you know the meaning of the Om, pointer to the real self. Good. And then you pause for a second and you say one Shanti, become aware of the entire known world. Second Shanti to the unknown world. Third Shanti to yourself, deep within you. You got it? Yes. Again, again, you look inside the forehead in the state of steadiness in the body. In that space, Shanti to the known world, Shanti to the known world, Shanti to deep within you. Again, bring your mind back to the space. So the space becomes a reference point. Please continue. The body moves, it is the mind past impression is causing. So when the body moves, and again make it comfortable and continue. Shanti, shanti, shanti. You are doing it mentally, as if you are dropping on the black screen of the forehead inside the space. And with every shanti, you are aware why you are doing it. Mm, Shanti, shanti, shanti. You're not in a hurry. Casually, you look inside the forehead, become aware of the space. Then you say Om, pointer to the real self, Shanti to the known world, Shanti to the unknown, Shanti, peace within you. Your priority in life is to be in peace in spite of any situation, condition, event, person, relationship outside. Maintaining that peace to the unknown world if it manifests in your life, and to discover permanent peace within us. Now doing nothing, remain as you are in a state of doing nothing. Hmm. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand. Bring your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palm. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down to get ready to listen. How the mind becomes crazy, lazy, and obsessed, and why, and what to do. First, we say a conception, or I can say past experiences, or normally we say the word vasana, deep rooted impressions present in the mind. That is the first, of which we are not fully aware. We are aware only when they manifest. You don't plan to be angry and agitated over a person. When you meet a person and sudden there is an upsurge of anger or hesitation or disliking or liking. How come? All human beings are the same? No, but because of their attitude. No, the same attitude does not create any anger at one time. At another time, the same attitude causes anger and hesitation. So that is why we say that those impressions, deep rooted impressions, are present in our mind. First thing, these deep rooted impressions are how many? Trillions and billions of these impressions. How come? Whatever we do every day, it gathers all the impressions and accumulates in the storehouse of the mind. It contains the impression of anxiety, pleasure, obsession, and all the experiences. They are present. So now what triggers me? The first trigger is when you wake up in the morning, you are aware, mind is active, and your mind goes out through the sense organ to see the objects. So that object outside, you know it, but the impression inside. Did you understand? The impressions inside, they are already present. But how my mind goes through the eyes will perceive a person or event from. So that stays is known as sankalpa and the vikalpa. We have discussed this. Imagine seeking, imagine pleasure or pain. Mind goes through the sense organ of my eyes, looks at the snake. Impression of fear is already present, so they both combine. Imagined fear. You see your friend who has not met you for 20 years. Mind goes through the sense organ, looks at your friend, that impression of friendship. Imagined. That creates a feeling, an emotion. Emotions and the feeling creates a thought. Thought creates an attachment. an attachment or aversion in both the cases. And then it creates a desire. Desire creates an impure states of the mind. Impure states of the mind causes the suffering. That is the reason why we become crazy, lazy, obsessed, reactive, impulsive. No, but it doesn't happen that I don't become impulsive and reactive all the time. Yes, that is what I'm saying, because I don't know the root cause. The root cause is deep inside because of those vasanas and the past impressions. It triggers, creates a like and dislike, imagine pain or the pleasure. It causes the attachment and detachment, and that causes the desire, and the desire causes your, the greed or agitation and the delusion. And all these delusion causes the impure states of the mind. And we say, I am anxious, I'm angry, I'm upset, I have, how can I get rid of? Are you getting it? So the root cause is somewhere else. But the biggest problem in our mind is that root cause is somewhere deep inside me, but I blame the situation, I blame the person, I blame the event, I blame the circumstances, even I blame the sun. No, no, I don't blame the sun. Have you never said that today is a bad morning? No, no, I said a couple of times. So what the sun has to do with your bad morning or good morning? The sun rises in the same way every day. That is the ignorance. That is what we need to understand. Are you getting it? I believe so. Our question remains why we became crazy, lazy, obsessed. So once I have a clear understanding, understanding means knowledge. Knowledge means what? You know about your gender? Yes. You know about your age? Yes. You know about your profession? There is no problem. There is no fear. So the same way, when I have a clear understanding, I wake up in the morning and her mind says, I am upset. You instantly become aware of it is because of the past impression. Let me explore it. That is what we are learning. You need to explore it every day, at every moment. I don't have time. No, it doesn't need to need time. Wherever you are, whenever you are, you can just become aware. Oh, from the unknown sources, this has come. Let me calm down. So when you are aware it has come from deeper inside, you can talk hold of. So the very first stage, or you can say the very, just understand in a form of a steps. First stage is known as the vasana. Vasana, there is no exact word of the vasana in English, but we can say that they are deep rooted impressions, tendencies, or inclinations carried from the past experiences that form the basis of our perception and understanding of the world. So these vasanas are formed from the past experiences and shape our perception. They can lead to biases, they can lead to upset, they can lead to reaction, they can lead to love, they can lead, long list. Clear? So understand this vasana now influence how we perceive and interpret the world around us, leading to the next stage, leading to the next stage of seeing and perceiving. So those impressions are already there. You wake up in the morning and you start using the mind through all these sense organs. you perceive a particular sense objects or a person or a thing or a relations, it is guided by that. So first is the vasana. Now the second factor comes the seeing or perceiving. Perceiving means that how these sense organs uh, collects information of the name and the form and the color and the touch and the smell, etc., etc. So don't forget this. That is because if you remember in your intellect, in the background, anytime you get upset, your anxiety, duality, you're upset, you start analyzing and observing from where this problem has come. So first is the vasana, second is the seeing and the perceiving. So based on my past impressions, I perceive and observe the situations, people, objects in the world around me. So that is what is happening to everyone. No, every perception of every individual is colored by colored by the vasana and the past experiences. That is more important to understand. Second is seeing and perceiving is okay. I see you and you see me. My perception is colored by my past experiences. So my perception is colored by my past experience is clear. And these experiences are nothing but the projection. Now this projection is a deception because I do not see the way the world is, the person is, the event is, the situation is. Clear? So either I see, so I have two options. What option? The first is perception, perception without projection. That is the right perception, right knowledge, right understanding, clear, and perception with projection is a deception. Clear? That is our projection. That is our third point. Are you clear? Remember that how this causes me. Let me understand. So the more you have an understanding about your personality and attitude, oh, here, this projection, because of this projection, I hate this guy. You see that? Do you see? Did you understand? Because of this projection, I like or I dislike, I hate or I love, or I like tea, not coffee. These are all projections. Question is why, how I become crazy, lazy, obsessed in my life, why I start fighting and reacting. I gave you the first, vasana. Second step is perception. So in that perception, then we say, then what I say? The perception is colored by, colored by, no, seeing and perceiving. Seeing and perceiving is the second step. Third is the perception is colored by the past experiences or not. So I have to understand. So from From perception, perception to knowledge or ignorance. Ignorance means perception with projection. Third point, 3 points you remember? So I have to check, I have to understand, am I projecting something from my mind on you to think about you are a good or a bad person? Clear? That is the third. And what is the fourth? So now the perception with the projection always have a feeling. Perception with the right understanding always have a feeling. In both the cases, we have a feeling. Feeling or sensation. Are you clear? Are you understanding? Whether I have a perception with or without, with or without projection, I have a feeling. I have a feeling or sensation about a person or an event or a thing, etc., etc., etc. Clear? That is our fourth step. That is how the mind is working so fast and we get confused. So we are taking over the mind. And so the fifth. Now the fifth one, because of that sensation, now we have come to the sensation, feeling part. Because of that feeling in me about a person, I have an imagined pain or pleasure. Someone knocks the door. You go there and open the door, and your son is there. Instantly, those past impression. Which son is there? First. And you already have the past experiences, memorable experiences. That is the first stage. Second stage is already started because you have seen your son when you open the door. After seeing that, perception is either colored by the right understanding or wrong understanding. You see one son differently than the other. You have perception with the projection. Are you clear? So that projection with the perception or without, sorry, perception with or without projection has causes the feeling, sensation. And now that sensation is colored by likes and dislikes. Imagine pleasure or pain. That is what the fifth step is. Now what happens? Now your words, your language, the way you communicate to your one son and the way you communicate with others, and both are different. Have you observed it? So you see that from the mind has started the journey from unknown area, and now the way you start thinking about your son, one son and the other son, projection is already colored, and you already have an imagined pain or pleasure. Those issues are already there. And that causes the thought. So you start thinking and expressing, and that expression in the thought contains either the attachment or aversion. Attachment and aversion on certain issues with regard to both or all your sons. Now we have entered into the sixth step. And with that attachment and aversion, the birth of the impure mind. Why the birth of the impure mind? Because now I have a desire inside. Even you think you don't have any desire pertaining to your son. No, no, let them do what they are doing. Really? Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Then one set of feeling about against one stand, why you have a second set of feeling. That shows you behavior. So that is the desire and the birth desire. And that desire is the birth of impure mind. And I already told you that mind undergoes a change at six level: desire, hesitation, greed, delusion, pride. Yes, pride and the jealousy. Now the mind is already filled with these ideas, thoughts, emotions, even if they are not expressed. So that that is the impure mind. And now the impure mind has to give you the reaction or a response. And in that reaction and response, mind changes its tone, pitch, duality, and it becomes the impure states of the mind that I had already covered. What are the impure states of the mind? Anxious mind, strong likes and dislikes mind, money mind, greed mind, angry mind, etc., obsessed mind, etc., etc. That is the reason I become crazy, lazy, obsessed. Are you getting it? Say yes with a smile on the face, and so that you can contemplate. You have to listen to this again and again and again. So why? So that your intellect takes over the mind anytime, anywhere to catch this suffering. Why? The tenth mind, impure states of the mind, results into suffering. And then we say, how long I have to suffer, and I don't know the reason. How long I have to suffer? So when we understand the entire process which happens deep inside without I noticing it, there is an endless suffering, there is no remedy for it. But when I understand clearly, then I know what needs to be done, how the corrective measures need to be done. And those corrective measures includes understanding these principles and digesting and assimilating into your mind. Doing the practice will take us from this suffering. So by understanding the process, how each stage leads to the next 10 stages, I've already explained. I just broken up into parts for the sake of understanding, for the sake of your understanding. If I get another student, I have to make him or her understand in a different way. It may be 20 steps or it may be 5 steps, depending on the temperament. So I am aware of your personality and your life. So I said, oh, these 10 steps may help you to understand. So by understanding the very process, how each stage leads to the next, and it ends up in suffering, we can develop an insight and tools necessary to break free from the cycle of suffering. This involves cultivating awareness. I have to continue the journey with commitment. I have to question my perception, my sensation, my feeling, my thoughts, my imagined pain and pleasure. Accordingly, I have to start responding in wisdom and understanding, and the problem is over. So today, what we are discussing is a progression of suffering. I have those negative, say, trillions of impressions already in the mind. Suffering is already there, but it is silent. Sometimes we say, There are silent diseases, heart attack, and other stuff, We don't know, and then we suddenly, after 5 years, we go to the doctor. Doctor says, "No, you have this problem." Silent. Now I'm talking about the suffering. As long as we are not aware, we are ignorant, we don't know these impressions causing the problem of lazy, crazy, obsessed reaction, problem in suffering. Yeah. So I'm in ignorance. Ignorance is suffering. So before any impression passes through the 10 stages and causes you this suffering, why don't you start removing those impressions? And that is what we have been doing. Sometimes it takes time and sometimes it happens fast. Well, it is a journey, my friend. So, the progression of the suffering we are trying to understand. The process of how suffering arises in the human mind, starting from the vasana, ending in the manifest suffering. Vasana is unmanifest suffering. Now I'm going, vasana is unmanifest, unexpressed, but rather you say unexpressed suffering. Why? Ignorance. What is ignorance? I'm not aware. I am responsible for, I am responsible for suffering. Are you getting it? I made it so simple. I don't know I'm responsible for my suffering. That I don't know. So that is when I don't know. So I remember something, the American proverb. When I do not know what it means, American proverb is ignorance is bliss. Then who cares? I'm happy unless it transforms into the suffering, manifest suffering. Do you see that? So our masters plead, request, inspire that please understand ignorance is the greatest suffering. Ignorance is not a bliss. I'm sitting comfortably in my room and there is a rattlesnake is there, for example, and I don't know. I'm ignorant. And I move my feet and the rattlesnake says, "Here it is." By chance I see, and then I am beset with the fear, anxiety, fear of the death, ignorance. So unmanifest and manifest. So, understanding this process is crucial for recognizing the root cause of this suffering and developing the necessary tools, educating the mind through the intellect, through the knowledge. So, you see, I have already explained to you the vasana, perception, perception with or without projection triggers the feeling and sensation in me. Sensation and feeling takes my mind outside with an imagined pain and pleasure, causes lot of thoughts, thoughts of desire. Desire causes the six things in my head. It causes the impure states of the mind, and the impure states of the mind I express. That is the meaning of that I'm crazy, lazy, obsessed, reactive, impulsive. Did you get it? You have to listen to it again and again. And the best part is you listen to it again and again. You understand it, and every day you spend 15 minutes before going to sleep, and you find out how many times you express to the impure states of the mind. Write it down. and then pick up each statement and find out how the entire process has created the impure states of the mind and has caused you the laziness, reactive anger, upset, and etc. So when you do like this, it takes only 15 minutes every day for a couple of weeks until all the 10 stages you remember by heart and you instantly. It is like simple thing, my friend. It is so simple to understand. It is like you are driving on the highway. Suddenly a car comes in front of you and what do? You give a brake, you slow down. Same way when you have that understanding, her anger is building up, and you give a break. Why? Because you have understood. So break has slowed down the anger. Then the second step, you recognize it. Further, it has become only 25%. And then you realize you have a big smile. Oh, there is no anger. That is what happens just by knowledge. What are vasanas? I made it very clear to you. These are the past impressions. Good impressions are also there. Good impressions leads to virtues, leads to merit. It is because of the good impressions we have been working together for so many years. Without having a good impression in you and in me, we cannot work together. So impressions are good and bad. How do feelings and emotions arise from our perception? Did you get an answer? How looking at a person arouse some feeling and emotion? How come? Based on the past impression, based on my vasana. What kind of a vasana, what kind of an impression it is? What role do the thoughts and the projections play? The thoughts, so I have to analyze if the thought has come from imagined pain or pleasure, or to make it simple, if the thought comes because of perception with projection, then I'll have a problem. Thoughts and projections triggered by feeling and emotions can accelerate or de-accelerate the initial perception, leading to attachment, aversion, delusion. How does the impure mind contribute to this suffering? How does the impure mind contribute to this suffering? What is the impure mind? I told you is caused by the six enemies. The desire becomes the hesitation, the desire becomes the greed, desire becomes the delusion, the desire becomes the pride, the desire becomes the jealousy. So I have all these six factors, which itself is suffering, so it is going to contribute to the suffering in my life. And if they are not there at the mental and the emotional level, you are free. My friend, you are free. That is why this lesson, many lessons, but this lesson seems to, for me, seems to be very important. I don't know about you. Think of it. So now I have to get rid of the suffering. I analyze and observe all the 10 stages. And during analysis, your problem already goes away. 99% it happens. 1% of the case that we are not a higher level of a seeker, then we have to do a lot of practices. Even though if it is 50%, we need to do the practice. So the progression of suffering is a chain reaction that begins with unmanifest suffering, which is known as the vasana, the past impression, culminates into expressed impure states of the mind, and impure states of the mind has to cause the suffering. It makes me lazy, crazy, obsessed, reactive, impulsive, angry. That is what. So the concept is that all of our actions and the thoughts arise from the colored perception caused by the impressions present for many, many years, not only from this life, but also from the previous life. So now understand, don't go into the previous life in many births. Just pick up the understanding that perhaps in 1 minute it is possible that we may accumulate 1 million impressions. How it is possible? In 1 minute, can you accumulate 1 million impressions? Answer is yes. So if in 1 minute you accumulate 1 million impressions, and those impressions are with you all the time, and that causes the endless suffering. To alleviate suffering, we need to cultivate our self awareness. Cultivating the self awareness, I have to understand these principles, I have to remember these. Another master says in a different way. I'm just reminding you so that you can remember. Avidya, ignorance is the first step. Ego is the second step. Attachment is the third stage. Aversion is the fifth stage. Play and abhinivesh, identification with the body is the fifth state. Fifth stage. So these are only the five. So this master explained those 10 stages in this way. Everyday contemplation. You know, in psychology, there is a cognitive behavior therapy. It is not identical, but many factors are similar. And look at those. Those masters have created this, this Eastern wisdom cognitive behavior changes 10,000 years ago. It's a matter of understanding and a constant contemplation and reflection. And I'm making you so simple. Every day you sit down before going to sleep, keep a notebook, write down how many times the impure states of the mind was expressed by you, either alone or with a person or in a situation. You say, for example, oh, my son made me upset. So you have written this. And then analyze on the basis of these 10 points. Past impression is the cause of all, it is because of the ignorance is there. I don't know it. And then I start seeing and perceiving the world outside. And then I have a feeling because of the imagined. pain or pleasure. Imagine likes or dislikes. So that created a thought process. The thought created a desire, and desire has all the six enemies. It creates the impure states of the mind. Impure states of the mind is causing the suffering. So my son is not responsible for making me upset. Answer is no. That is how we need to think in our mind, contemplate in our mind. When you think and contemplate in your mind in that way, you will see a tremendous change in a week. You just do it for a week and let me know the result. Just in that state, close your eyes, remind you of the Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, looking into the space, and remind yourself what practice you have done in the beginning of today's thought. Do you remember? Om Shanti. Om is the pointer to the permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. First Shanti to the known world. That includes your personal, professional, social, family life, but you have not clinging to anything. Second is Shanti to the unknown. Shanti, third Shanti is to yourself. To yourself means that peace is my essential nature and the life changes completely. Just continue saying Om Shanti. But remember, with understanding, when you say it with an understanding, it makes sense. When your mind is distracted and you are repeating it habitually, it makes nonsense. Now I'm just explaining in a very simple and layman's language. But suffering means that the mind is in the field of nonsense. Common sense means mind is in the field of the wisdom. That is all. Thank you very much for your continued support. Namaste.